Jurassic World Chaos Theory has just been released, and the first season of the show was something that I feel took many of us by surprise. The Nucleus 6 were older, the show was darker, and it provided a shock twist ending that none of us truly expected, with the story most definitely concluding in a way where it's looking like it set itself up for a second season of the show. I thought I'd take a look at all that was out there, see if there was a release date, and give my theories and predictions on what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 2 Everything We Know. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The release date. When it comes to shows like this, especially with the way that they conclude, the question that's on everybody's mind is, will there be another season? Considering that Camp Cretaceous had 5 seasons and was a huge hit amongst the viewers, one would have to assume that a new season of Chaos Theory would have most likely been commissioned off of that alone, just due to predicting the success. When looking at the previous show, they tended to release the different seasons every few months. For example, the first season was released in September of 2020, and then the second season was released in January of 2021. The third season was also released only a few months later in May of 2021. So it shows that they like to keep the momentum there with the show, something that not a lot of shows tend to do on the platform. Considering that this first season of Chaos Theory ended on a massive cliffhanger to the point where it set up a season 2, I think that means that a second season was definitely already in the works, because with the way that the story was structured, there was no way that they would have written that ending with the hopes of not getting a season 2. I feel it's concrete. Plus, if Chaos Theory wants to stick to a similar timeline as what the previous show did, then that means that the season would pretty much need to be done by now. When looking at the current tracking success of the show, it currently sits at number 5 in the UK top 10 on Netflix, and it has about 15 million hours worth of streaming time. So I would say that it's got some good viewing figures on it, and that always bodes well for chances of there being a second season. When also looking at how it's been rated a 7.7 on IMDb, and has a 100% Rotten Tomatoes score. So it shows that not only are people just watching the show, they're watching it and enjoying it. So all early signs point towards there being another season of the show potentially being greenlit. So in taking all of that into consideration, I would predict that we could possibly get the second season of the show around the fall of this year. So I'm thinking September or October of 2024. So in comparison to other shows, that's not actually that long of a wait, which is quite nice to know. The story. In terms of the story, there are quite literally so many different things that could happen when the show returns for its next season. However, there are a couple of main things that will most definitely get explored. The first will most likely be centered around Brooklyn still being alive. Everybody was under the impression that Brooklyn was in fact dead, and everybody in the Nucleus 6 was mourning her in some kind of way. Right at the end of the final episode, we saw that Brooklyn was alive, and she was informed that Dudley was killed and that she was communicating through Dark Jurassic. She was communicating with Ronnie. This shows that there's most likely a split amongst the officers that are present there, and the intentions that were at play. Many of them were being recruited into working the night operations, which was solely focused on the trafficking of dinosaurs and their eggs in some kind of black market. However, Ronnie didn't seem like she was involved in that. Brooklyn most likely knows of Dudley and his involvement, and with him being out of the picture, it could lead more towards her feeling as though she could come out of hiding. She may not know of the mysterious raptor handler and the broker though, which could be dangerous. However, the fact that everybody believed that Brooklyn was dead, it shows that she may be aware of the larger danger that's at play, as she's had to keep herself hidden. Plus, that could also be what she was looking into. I feel we're going to see how she managed to survive for all of that time, what exactly happened to her on the night where she was perceived to be dead, and why it was that she was working with Kenji's father, as it sounded like she was acting extremely suspicious on that night. Outside of Brooklyn's main story, with regards to Darius and the rest of the gang, I think we're going to be seeing them investigating what's going on with the broker even more, and them doing their best to stop the harsh treatment of the dinosaurs. During the very first episode, there was a broadcast on the radio which mentioned how there was a divide amongst the population. Some people hated the fact that they had to share the world with dinosaurs, so I feel we could see more of that, and that could be tied into the harsh treatment of them. I also think that the group are going to have to be on the lookout because the mysterious raptor handler will most likely be back with vengeance. We know that she was working with Jensen, and Jensen was working with the broker, so she most likely knows where the boat is heading, and that boat obviously now contains Darius and the rest of the group. The look that she gave them right at the end before she left with her raptors because they were exhausted almost implied that there was something personal that she had against them. So I'm hoping not only will we learn more about her origin and her identity, but we'll also learn why it is that she's specifically going after the group. I think if the group is going to find out that Brooklyn is still alive, it will happen right at the end of the season, and that could be the next large cliffhanger that the show produces. Let's remember as well, Darius was in love with her, and so was Kenji. Right now, there isn't any bad blood between Kenji and Darius, but if Brooklyn were to reveal herself to be alive, then I wonder if that will impact the friendship, as Brooklyn may be forced into a decision to choose between them, or even choose nobody. So that will most likely add an extra layer to the already complex friendship that will ignite if and when Brooklyn reveals herself to the group again. As you can see, there are so many different directions that the story could go in when it does eventually return. I'm excited to see exactly what's going to happen and what Brooklyn has been looking into specifically. Plus, I think I'm most excited to learn more about the mysterious raptor handler. The cast. With regards to the cast, I think that's something that will stay true to how it's been for the most part of the show. There were a few changes between Cretaceous and Chaos Theory, but I would predict because Season 2 doesn't look like it's going to be tackling a time jump, I feel the cast will most likely stay the same. So that means we'll get Paul Mikel-Williams returning as Darius, Darren Barnett as Kenji, Sean Glambrone as Ben, Kausa Muhammad as Yasmina, and Rainy Rodriguez as Sammy. With it being revealed that Brooklyn wasn't in fact dead and was very much still alive, Jenna Ortega was Brooklyn in the previous show, and it does make me wonder if they're going to get her back. Since 2020, she's become what could only be considered as one of the main up-and-coming faces of Hollywood, and with Wednesday being her priority and her also most likely being involved in a lot of other TV shows and movies, I wonder if she'll have the time to reprise her role. So that makes me think that they're probably going to recast Jenna Ortega because of a clash of schedules. I think as well as that, we're most probably going to see the character The Broker be introduced to us in a more serious fashion. Plus, I also think that with the mysterious lady handling the Raptors being introduced to us in this season, I think we're going to be seeing an official casting of her voice being announced, as I imagine she will have a much larger role to play as the seasons develop. As well as that, I also think we'll see many other new characters being introduced to us in the next installment too. Unfortunately for now, that's all that's known about Season 2 of Jurassic World Chaos Theory, but I'm sure as time goes on, more information will be released, so we're just going to have to keep our eyes open. So, there you have it, Jurassic World Chaos Theory Season 2, Everything We Know. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns on all of your favourite TV shows, then click on the card in the top corner, or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think will happen next? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.